Hello and welcome to Future School. Sorry about the late video. I said this would be a weekly instance and I'm recording this on Friday. Hopefully it gets uploaded on Friday also. I'm having technical issues with my computer and the editing room essentially, which is also the computer. I'm having a fan go out, which is creating a loud audible noise. The camera itself has a few issues I needed to work out. And a USB hub I'm using right now, which is essentially one USB port turns into 4, is going out on me. So next paycheck, that'll get all situated. But you're not here for that. You're not here for my excuses. What you're here for is to learn about neuroplasticity. Now, just a little preemptive thing before I start the timer on the 5-minute challenge. There's a lot of talk going on right now about like, I'm a brain expert. I know everything about the brain. For instance, neuroplasticity. That's my technical voice, by the way. Neuroplasticity. However, it's not a hard concept to grasp, which is why I'm going to be able to do it in 5 minutes. And it's actually, there's a little bit of history going into it too. However, I'll save that for the 5-minute challenge. Begin. Neuroplasticity is best described when you describe how we used to think of it. Think of a clockwork machine. Every gear is put into a place that you can't replace and that can't change at all. That's how we used to think the brain was. You would learn information and you could never unlearn that information, and you can't learn anything after a certain point. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. However, that's not the case actually. What we get instead is your brain, when you're growing up, is a lot like clay. It molds into different places, and that's why learning takes place before the age of 30. Traditionally, obviously you can go back into college, try it again, whatever. However, neuroplasticity is essentially the science of, after your brain has molded, trying to reconnect, essentially you're trying to reconnect your learning capabilities. And it's harder than when you were younger. For instance, if you think of language. Language is a very difficult subject matter to get a hold of. You can get the accent when you're younger. Now it's also because you're developing your vocal cords obviously and things like that. However, learning the accent is possible when you're younger, but when you're an adult, it's very, very hard to not only grasp, but to train yourself to speak that way. And that's because your neural connections are connecting for the first time. So you get this idea of, so you get this concept of essentially, oh, here's the language. This is how it's being spoken, and here's how it's supposed to be spoken, and I will try to do my very best to speak the language like that. Now, we've come to understand that the brain can do this, but there's that thing of triggering that reaction. And, most importantly, as with the Future School project, how does this all relate to the internet? You are learning information every day faster than you are ever able to. It used to be if you wanted to figure out what the weight of an elephant was. You would go down to the library, you would find a book about animals. You would search for E-L-E-F-H-A-N-T, bam, elephant. Then to the traditional weight of an elephant, there's the largest elephant, whatever, in an encyclopedia, and it would take forever. However, now with the internet, that's just a today I learned on Reddit. Now it's, hey, here's a tidbit of information, and your brain stores it. And what we're seeing is that mold that we used to think was hard plastic is getting reshapen with every new generation. All of a sudden, generations can now learn information really, really easily, but they can't retain it because they're focused on the computer retaining it for them. For example, history. If you ask someone, traditionally my generation, so internet native, which is a whole other discussion. If you ask an internet native born into the internet, essentially, a lot about history, unless they studied it really, really well or had multiple classes in it, they might not remember every detail. Now, this is because it was, in a book, and obviously they only had to learn it for a week or whatever, but they might not even remember huge events. Now, if they didn't learn it in school, and they wanted to learn about history, the chances are they would have this information in the back of their mind, but it would be a very, very big concept. Now, neuroplasticity in this case was, oh, I had this connection, I had this thought, I had this idea, but it's not staying there. And that's the worry. When we move on from the internet to an educational setting, there's problems with it, as there is with anything. I got 30 seconds left on the 5-minute challenge, so I'm trying to figure out a conclusion really fast. Here's the main line though. Neuroplasticity is the act of learning after a certain age. It's not even the act, it's the science of learning after a certain age. And really what we're boiling down to is that even the same concept anymore? Back when we thought our brains were clockwork machines, the idea was, hey, we can't learn anything afterwards. This is what we're comparing our brains to, and this is really what we're seeing. But now we're seeing something else entirely. 5-minute challenge is over. Next week, I want to deal with the digital omnivore versus the digital carnivore, but it might take more than 5 minutes is the problem. This has been Future School, and thank you.